Fred is, Fred's Fred.
He's special.
People always go, oh, you're Hutchinson, who's or you's? Oh, I'm Fred. And their response is standard. It's always, I know Fred. He's interesting.
Not the type of person I would ever imagine to be like the owner of such a huge business.
He's not the GQ guy. You know, he is the wolf in sheep's clothing. You look at him and he comes off with his mumbles and his stumbles and the whole bit, and you think, geez, this is not, but don't judge that book.
Fred's a fun guy. He's a driven guy. He has capabilities of big picture, but he also has capabilities of fine detail, and that's part of his success.
He's really a very intense individual, but very jovial. You know, one of those combinations where you may not pick up the intensity because he's just such a nice guy.
He's a guy you really want to have a beer with, but he's also a guy, if you put an all-star team together, you want to have him on your team. And when he's on your team, he's going to be your captain, he's going to be your leader.
He's just a naturally ambitious person that wants to succeed. And that drives him. I don't think it's so much the financial reward as wanting to do good and wanting to provide a nice work environment for people and wanting to maintain the family business going into the fourth generation.
Hutchinson family business started in 1948. My father, uncle, and grandfather. My father and uncle came back from the war. They wanted to start a business. They were pipe fitters, so they started a residential plumbing business in Haddonfield, New Jersey.
And they grew very nicely. They were very creative, very customer focused. 5-6 years, they had 7 trucks. They were the largest residential plumbing company in the area.
And they were able to support 2 large families of 6 children each, food on the table, bring the boys into the business.
You know, we were the helpers after hours. If there were service calls and customers needed help, you know, the technicians would call our house and one of the brothers or cousin got grabbed and sent out as a helper. So we literally grew up in the business.
And back in the 70s, when we all started getting out of school, we started coming into the company.
When we got into the business and had to feed all the people, so we expanded into HVAC and grew the company from that to where it is today.
We actually have a relationship with the Pierce family that dates back to the early 1950s when our fathers were buying kitchen cabinets, believe it or not, from Pierce Phelps.
Pierce Phelps is a family business. You know, they got 5 boys, and we mesh nicely.
Our ages are very similar, so we've grown up together. We've married, at the same time. We've had kids at the same time. We've sent kids to college at the same time.
We grew up with that generation of the Pierce family, and it's very meaningful to us.
And it's them that really had us buying carrier.
They're constantly innovating their product line. We're constantly innovating our delivery processes. So it's just a great relationship between Carrier, the Pierce family, and the Hutchinson family.
They're our #1 dealer in the marketplace and have been for the last 7 years. They help us get better. They help us grow. They keep us on our toes. I don't know where we'd be if it hadn't been for Hutchinson and what they've done for us over the last few years.
There's 5 brothers all involved in the business. They each have their own, we'll call it like a profit center or section of the business that they're responsible for, but they've learned how to really integrate that and work as the team that they need to be to have their business be successful.
Fred is 3rd in line, but it came to a point where you couldn't have 6 people running the show. And he seemed to be the natural leader.
And we were all partners, and we were fumbling a little bit, and we realized we had to get somewhat traditional. My brother Ed ran the commercial side, and he goes, I'll be the president of Hutchinson. I said, that's fine. So I said, I'll be the CEO.
He's taken on the leadership role by the way he acts, the way he handles himself, the people that he's brought to the organization or outside the organization, and he's a true leader. And some of the brothers we know that he's better than we are, and we respect him and thank God he's here.
Owners and managers traditionally work to improve their business. And Fred goes about obtaining that task by actually going to improve the industry. And a byproduct of his improving the industry is that his company benefits, it succeeds.
We had an issue arise in Fred's home state of New Jersey. There was a legislation signed into law that seriously impacted the contracting community. Fred took the bull by the horns And almost single-handedly, he organized a state contractor group in New Jersey to make sure that their voice was going to be heard in the state capitol. And I'm not talking about getting 3 or 4 contractors together. I'm talking about getting hundreds of contractors together. They've had many victories since that time. They're a very strong organization, and Freddie's really the catalyst to bring the whole industry together.
Fred at any time has helped many dealers. Just if they call him up, he's very open with his data. He's very open with what he's doing in the marketplace. He doesn't see the pie as being, my slice gets bigger and yours gets smaller. He just sees getting the whole pie bigger for the industry.
He really understands that there's a law of abundance, and just because I have doesn't mean you can't have. I think another way to put it is Fred gets the whole win-win scenario. And just because I'm winning doesn't mean you can't win too.
From a personal level, he's also that guy that does give back. He cares about the people that he works with. He cares about his organization.
To make the world a better place. He really wants that.
We use him as an example every time we go out and solicit for new business. Fred is the ultimate example of what we look for in a partner. He's a caring, giving guy who is so passionate about life.